Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And like always, everything said today is coming to the First Amendment of free speech and freedom of the press of the U.S. Constitution. That being said, for today's episode, we're going to talk about how Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's probably going to get impeached pretty fucking soon. This is actually a story I've been waiting over a year to talk about, mostly because the fact that probably about 15, 16 months ago almost. I think it was more, I'm trying to think now. It was like January to March, someplace like last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So about 14 months ago, give or take. It was around the time of, who's the guy? Kyle Cora, I think that's how you pronounce his name. The dude who shot the ex-husband on his front lawn there is what it is, with the Ruger PCC is what it was. It was around that time that I first heard about Ken Paxton possibly having a bunch of shady dealings going on there as Attorney General of Texas. And I'm like, bro, how is this dude even in the running for re-election then if he's like a corrupt motherfucker, you know? And it really does make you wonder, honestly. And I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, so why not just, have the deputy attorney general run for the race or whatever and just take Ken Paxton out right there is what it is then. The sad part is Paxton has been very, very much instrumental in several things in Texas, specifically when it comes to the border war and, helping get illegals out of this country, as far as I'm aware. And also the fact that he's been very pro 2A. He's actually been one of the many, many voices of the Second Amendment at this point. I think actually at one point, though, I'm trying to think now, because I know Texas did something recently that was really scummy when it came to fucking over Second Amendment stuff. I'm not sure if Paxton was part of that or not. I can't remember offhand. I know Justin Holland's bitch ass was, though, when he put through that age limit thing out of that committee, which hopefully is dead on the floor at this point then in Texas, because it's fucking Texas, obviously. We got enough Republicans there to hopefully just kill it without ever getting a floor vote. And obviously, you'd have to have the Speaker of the House there be the one to bring it up. Speaking of the Speaker of the House of Texas, I'm not sure what that guy's name is offhand, but like I saw a post yesterday. That guy was apparently hammered as fuck on the House floor the other day, dude. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck's going on in Texas, man? Like, what's with all those Republicans getting hammered and shit? you know? Like, what's with them all, fucking up all of a sudden is what it is, man. But yeah, for Ken Paxton, though, I've been waiting at least 14, 15 months to talk about this story. And I should have talked about it last year, honestly, when we were under a different moniker then. And I completely had forgot to, honestly, at the time because everything else is going on. But yeah, it was about probably somewhere between like January and March of 2022 is when I first found out about Ken Paxton's shady ass dealings and like all kinds of shady shit and stuff like that. And then I sort of just, let it go to the wayside as what it was for other stories of the day and stuff like that. And I'm glad that I kind of waited because I really wanted to see where it went is what it was. Because my feeling was, okay, the guy got back in as Attorney General in 2022 midterms and stuff like that. Okay, they're not going to impeach him then, right? Now they waited a few months, and then I think it's right at the end of the General Assembly here is what it is for Texas. I believe that they're going on like summer break, or maybe they're just going on break entirely for the rest of the year is what it is. So they're going to do this like right at the end of their General Assembly legislative session is what it is then. So kind of makes sense. But we're going to talk about a few stories here that are on Reddit politics is what it is. The only thing Reddit's actually good for these days, man, is actually their politics side when it comes to stories and stuff like that. But yeah, we got some crazy stuff going on here. Obviously, you got the first one here, which is let's up quick. We got Texas House Committee recommends impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. Then you got GOP-led Texas House panel issues 20 impeachment counts against Attorney General Ken Paxton. And you got Ken Paxton's impeachment case involves an alleged affair. His wife, who is a state senator, may vote on his political fate. I didn't realize she was actually a state senator there. That's interesting. Then we got Texas panel recommends impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. Here are the 20 articles of impeachment filed against Ken Paxton. We're going to read that, obviously, in a second here. Articles of impeachment against Ken Paxton filed in Texas House. This is all like, so this apparently happened like last night, it sounds like, because this is all like 13, 14 hours old and stuff. So it's probably maybe yesterday afternoon if that'd be the case then. But yeah, very, very interesting. So, yeah, crazy, crazy shit, man. I think Paxton also had, if I'm not mistaken, a big hand in the ERCOT stuff where that almost destroyed the Texas grid last year or a couple years ago whenever they had that big ass storm down there. So it could be one of those things, honestly, too, as well. But yeah, Paxton is very much like, I think he's very much like a flip-floppy motherfucker when it comes to stuff. Like, obviously, he's embedded with some people is what it is here, and that's obviously why they're going to impeach him is what it is. or at least bring the articles of impeachment there. But then simultaneously, it's also, he could have been good for the Second Amendment, or at least, was semi-neutral is what it was then, for the most part, and was actually helping in some cases. So, but anyway, so we're going to go ahead and read that first article then, which is the 20 articles of impeachment against Paxton here. As soon as I can grab up the screen share here, I'll do that. So, let's see here. So we got Texas Tribune here. Texas House will vote on accusations that include bribery, dereliction of duty. It's funny to me, right? Okay. So they say bribery, dereliction of duty, disregard of official duty, and obstruction of justice. So how is like almost every politician not being hit with the same exact charges right now, dude? Especially every single Democrat in every single state house right now. When every single time you have people like Allison Russo, etc. Let me go ahead and grab the photo of that fucking cunt right now. This dirty ass fucking cunt right here. How is she not impeached right now out of the Ohio House, or removed out of the Ohio House by vote is what it is, because you don't really need to be impeached is what it is, dude. Or in the same kind of things. You get other scumbags in the state of Ohio like Rhino Bill Seitz, but they don't kick them out of the fucking office, dude. So I don't know. There's so many people that are derelict of duty at this point, dude. It's not even funny. And then also, oath breaking is another big thing. Deprivation of rights are of law, which should be a felony on all 50 states right now, is another big one that people always commit all the time. So anyway, going back to the Texas Tribune article, it says the 20 articles of impeachment against State Attorney General Ken Paxton filed Thursday night in the Texas House accused the Republican official of a range of criminal acts that the full Texas House will be asked to vote upon. Representative Andrew Murr, a Republican from Junction, who leads the House General Investigating Committee, which recommended that Paxton be impeached, told House members that the articles allege, quote, grave offenses, according to House Resolution 2377. Those accusations were Article 1, disregard of official duty. Paxton violated the duties of his office by failing to protect the charitable organization by directing employees to intervene in a lawsuit between the nonprofit Mitt Foundation and Austin real estate investor Nate Paul, a Paxton friend and political donor. Paxton harmed the Mitt Foundation in an effort to benefit his friend, Nate Paul. That's fucked up, dude. And actually, not only is that one a dereliction of duty, or sorry, disregard of official duty, technically what that should also be considered would be misuse of position personal gain is what would be then, because that's one big one that a lot of current governors and stuff like that should be hit with right now, is the fact that they have misused their position for the past 3 years or so, back in 2020 election cycle, when you had them locked down this country for over a year. Right then and there, they were misusing their position for personal gain in many cases, especially Mike DeWine was. You had him legitimately go file a PPP loan for a baseball team he owns in fucking Indiana. And it's like, how is that not misuse personal gain, bro? When you're a current fucking governor going to get money for a baseball team that benefits your ass in another state is what it is. Doesn't make any sense, man, how he's still in office. And then you look at this crazy bitch like Nan Whaley, who was the political rival in 2022, and you understand why, because she was a psychotic lunatic, and they don't allow everybody else's names on the fucking ballot because they're all writing candidates. That's what it is, dude. That's exactly why Mike DeWine is still governor of the state of Ohio right now in 2023. He shouldn't be, and neither should Nan Whaley. They should have both been kicked out of the race. Everybody else should have been there. Would have been. Would have had a brand new governor no matter what. So honestly, the sad part is, I do very much blame Joe Blystone's ass for even being in the fucking primary, because had he not been in that primary, siphoning off a bunch of votes from someone like trying to think what that guy's name is off here right now. The dude who went up against Sherrod Brown in 2018 and was screwed over in the U.S. Senate race. Fuck, now I can't think of it. I want to say Jim something, but I can't remember now. Midterms. Ohio. I'll tell you in a sec here. I'll literally look it up right now. Come Governor. There we go, governor. Yeah, Jim Renacci. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, if it hadn't for dumbass Blystone siphoning off 235,000 votes and some change from Renacci, you would have had Renacci beat DeWine by like about 20,000 or so. So, yeah, just a bunch of shit entirely. And then we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different people that were writing candidates on that list who got anywhere from 8% of the vote to, or sorry, got anywhere from 0.2% of the vote to 0% of the vote, basically, with a few handful of votes is what it was. But yeah, just fucking ridiculous. Anyway, let's see, where was that though? But yeah, so like I said, when you have misuse of personal gain is what it is. All these politicians that have done crimes in the past should be brought up on those charges, what it is, because almost all of them have done that. You know, just looking at the bribery scandals that are involving Alice Rose here in Ohio, like she should be right now in prison for bribery and a bunch of other stuff, as well as dereliction of duty, as well as insurrection at this point, honestly, because she led one the other day. So, yeah, it's just bullshit, dude, entirely. Honestly, it was up to me. I'd say kick everybody out right now and we start fresh with brand new people is what it is then, across the board. People who actually give a shit about the Constitution, a bunch of constitutionalist types, a bunch of, you know, people who actually respect the founding of this country, people who actually give a shit about the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, etc. So, anyway. But yeah, so we got disregard of official duty by helping his buddy there was number one. The second one, Article 2 against Paxton, was disregard of official duty. Paxton misused his official power to issue written legal opinions to help that Nate Paul guy avoid foreclosure sales of properties owned by him and his businesses. Paxton concealed his actions by soliciting State Senator Brian Hughes from Manarola to seek the Attorney General's opinion as a, quote, straw requester, the resolution said, adding that Paxton also directed employees to reverse their legal conclusions in ways that helped his friend Nate Paul. Dude, that's fucked up. So it looks like a lot of these, like, first couple here is all, like, derelict or disregard of official duties is what it is then. So we'll continue on here in a sec. Got to get readjusted here. Bring back up the good moniker. Anyway. So yeah, so you got those two happening. Third one was disregard of official duty. Paxton misuses official power to administer the state's public information laws by directing employees to act contrary to the law on an open records request for Department of Public Safety documents, and in another unspecified case. Article 4, Paxton misused his power to administer public information laws to obtain previously disclosed information held by his office, quote, for the purpose of providing the information to the benefit of Nate Paul, the resolution said. So the first four, it sounds like all his buddy is what it is then. Let's see. Article 5, disregard of official duty. Paxton misused his official powers by violating the laws regarding how outside attorneys should be appointed. Paxton hired Brandon Kamek, a lawyer of 5 years, to investigate a, quote, baseless complaint made by Paul, who had accused federal and state investigators of improperly searching his home and business. Kamek responded by issuing 30 grand jury subpoenas in an effort to help Nate Paul, the resolution said. So first 5 are all about his buddy Nate Paul. Article 6, disregard of official duty. Paxton violated his duties of office by firing or retaliating against employees in violation of the Texas Whistleblowers Act, which protects public employees who make good faith reports of potentially illegal action to law enforcement. Quote, Paxton terminated the employees without good cause or due process, and in retaliation for reporting his illegal acts and improper conduct, the resolution said. Furthermore, Paxton engaged in a public and private campaign to impugn the employees' professional reputations or prejudice their future employment. So basically essentially just slandered and defamed their asses, what it was that they said in there. It's all fucked up, dude. Let's see. Article 7, misappropriation of public resources. Not surprising, everybody does this as well, by the way. It'd be like I said earlier, it's like misuse of for personal gain stuff is what it is. So Paxton misused public resources by directing employees to conduct a sham investigation into the whistleblower's complaints, leading to the Attorney General's office to publish a quote lengthy written report containing false or misleading statements in Paxton's defense. In August 2021, the Attorney General's office issued an unsigned 374-page internal report clearing him of wrongdoing and the allegations made by the fired employees. Okay, so you got August of 2021. His office issued the thing clearing him. Like, so you're basically investigating yourself on that one. Fuck off, dude. Let's see. Article 8, disregard of official duty. Paxton misused his official powers by concealing his wrongful acts in connection with the whistleblower complaints. To settle the whistleblower's lawsuit, Paxton agreed to pay more than $3.3 million from public funds, which is, by the way, stealing taxpayer money at that point. This dude should be in prison forever at that point, then, dude, at bare minimum. Let's see. Agreement conspicuously delayed the discovery of facts and testimony at trial to Paxton's advantage and deprived voters of the opportunity to make an informed decision in the 2020 election for the Attorney General. Wow. For some reason, I was thinking this guy was reelected in 2022. Okay, so it was apparently 2020 then. So yeah, he definitely did some shady ass shit then for sure, man. But anyway, let's see here now. Article 9. Constitutional bribery. Paxton engaged in bribery in violation of Article 16 of the Texas Constitution when he benefited from his friend Paul's decision to employ a woman with whom Paxton was having an extramarital affair. Said Nate Paul received favorable legal assistance from or specified access to the Office of the Attorney General. Article 10. Constitutional bribery. Paxton engaged in a bribery in violation of Article 16 of the Texas Constitution when Paul provided extensive renovations to Paxton's Austin home. In return, Paul received favorable legal help from Paxton's agency. So basically, it was a pay-to-play scandal, is what they're saying there. It's like, oh, you fix up my house, and I'll give you a bunch of fucking attorney shit, is what it is. Fucked up, man. Article 11, obstruction of justice. Ken Paxton abused the judicial process to thwart justice by causing, quote, protracted delays after the Collin County grand jury indicted him for securities fraud for soliciting investors in Savory Inc. without disclosing that the McKinney tech company was paying him to round up investors. Jesus Christ, dude, this is a pay-to-play scandal and then some. So those delays deprived the electorate of its opportunity to make an informed decision when voting for Attorney General in 2020 is what they're saying there. Let's see. Article 12, obstruction of justice. Ken Paxton abused the judicial process by to thwart justice when Jeff Blackard, a donor to his campaigns, took legal action that, quote, disrupted payment of the prosecutors in the securities fraud case against him, causing a protracted delay in the case. Article 13, false statements in official records. Before and after holding public office, Ken Paxton made false statements to mislead the public and public officials by lying to the State Securities Board during its investigation of Paxton's failure to register as an investment advisor as requested by state law. Article 14, false statements in official records. Before and after his time in office, Paxton made false statements on personal finance statements required by Texas law by filing to, quote, fully and accurately disclose his financial interest on disclosure forms. So basically, he lied about how much money he had or was given or whatever the case be. Let's see. So basically, all of them is what it is. They're all scumbags. Like I said, rhinos are the worst at this point, dude. And it sounds like Ken Paxton's the biggest piece of shit ever, basically, after all this stuff. Yeah, fuck him is what it is, man, for real. Let's see. Article 15, false statements and official records Paxton made or caused others to make multiple false and misleading statements in his office's response to the whistleblower's claims in an effort to mislead the public and public officials. In August 2021, the Attorney General's office issued an unsigned 374-page internal report clearing him of wrongdoing and the allegations made by the fired employees. Article 16, conspiracy and attempted conspiracy. While in office, Paxton acted with others to conspire or attempt to conspire to commit the crimes described within these articles or within other articles. Article 17, misappropriation of public resources. So literally misuse of for personal gain kind of shit is what they're talking about there. Paxton misused the official powers by causing employees to perform services for his benefit and the benefit of others. The committee's investigators said Paxton has diverted employees to perform work that benefited his friend Nate Paul, costing the state at least $72,000 in taxpayer-funded labor. He also hired that Kimmick guy for another $25,000, almost $100,000 right now on that one. Yeah, like $97,000 there. Jesus Christ. Article 18, dereliction of duty. Paxton violated Texas Constitution, his oaths of office, plus statutes and public policy against public officials acting against the public interest. Article 19, unfitness for office. Paxton engaged in private and public misconduct described in the articles that indictment indicate his unfitness for office, resolution said. And finally, the 20th and final article of impeachment, abuse of public trust. Paxton subverted the lawful option of Texas government by misusing, or failing to use his official powers and obstructed the fair and impartial administration of justice, bringing the Attorney General's office, quote, into scandal and disrepute, which harmed the public's confidence in the state's government. Wow. So needless to say, good luck not being fucking in prison for the rest of your life, Ken Paxton, you fucking douchebag. Dude, like, these people are fucking scumbags beyond belief, honestly, at this point. I'm going to talk about this for a minute, actually, real quick. For some reason, I was thinking 231 was what I wanted to do yesterday, but it's actually 241 for some reason. I think I misclicked the thing is what it was, so. We'll obviously be doing 231 now as this, and then 232 through 240 at some point then is what it'll be. But, yeah, needless to say, it's a bunch of shit, dude. It's a bunch of shit. And I guarantee Ken Paxton's not the only attorney general like this dude. I mean, hell, you look like, what's fucked up to me, right? Okay. So you have all of this shit going on in Texas there with Ken Paxton doing all kinds of shady shit with his buddy there is what it is, dude. Kind of the same shit that Larry Household did the $60 million bribery scandal here in Ohio. The thing was, you have other attorney generals right now sitting in states like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Delaware, Michigan, California, etc., who are a bunch of oath-breaking fucking cunts and then some, who will sit there and attempt to deprive the citizenry of these states of their right to keep and bear arms, just like Maryland's attorney general did recently as well in that one. And yet they're not brought up in articles of impeachment when they should be. And it does make me wonder, right? Okay, so say that they do impeach Ken Paxton here. Okay. So you basically have, we're at least a year out now from the next attorney general's race there in the state of Texas, which would be 2024. So here's my question. Are they going to have a special election to replace Ken Paxton then as attorney general? Or is it going to be something where it would be the deputy attorney general of the state basically just taking over for the next year or so? Or is it going to be something where they would hold some kind of weird like appointment then, where it would be like, okay, we're going to place like this person into the attorney general's office now is what it would be then for the next year, is like a temporary attorney general is what it would be then. Because I think they could do all those things, honestly. I'm not sure exactly how Texas state law or Texas Constitution is different from Ohio's Constitution, but I know there's like different things like that is what it is. Actually, I found out recently with the Ohio Constitution specifically, it does not allow us to actually hold special elections for state house reps. So Chris Jordan, after his death, would never be getting replaced by special election. It was always going to be some assholes in our General Assembly appointing somebody in there for him, which they did 10 days ago is what it was. Or actually, I think it was like 12 days ago now at this point, because it was back on the 14th of this month. So, yeah, about 2 weeks ago now. But yeah, it's just a bunch of shit entirely, dude. And it's just disgusting is what it is. It was actually the Lucas County Board of Elections that said that to me yesterday on Twitter. He told me that about the thing, because I was saying I was like so sick and tired of it all, basically. And it's like, why don't we have the ability to have, you know, special elections for the state house reps and stuff like that that have to either be replaced because of death or, you know, they move on to another thing, whatever the case be. And they're like, oh, you actually can't do that because it's not in the state law and stuff. Which, by the way, if I became governor of this state in 4 years, well, not quite 4 years, it'd be about 3 years and some change right now, 2026 election cycle. One of the first things I would do as a governor then would actually be to, you know, talk to the General Assembly and stuff like that at the time and be like, hey, it's time that we do this stuff, dude. It's time that we change the fucking law now. And, hopefully at that point you'd have good people in there that would actually be willing to do their stuff. And if they be first-term reps or whatever the case, it doesn't matter. But it would be those people that would actually be the constitutionalists that would come in then and be like, okay, cool, we're going to actually submit this in there and have it be done differently now. Because that's the thing, right? It's just like, because I'm comparing the corruption of Ohio and Texas, obviously, at this point right now. This is why states are so corrupt, is what it is, dude. Because you have these fucking people who get into office who are career politicians and stuff like that in most cases. And they are some of the biggest motherfucking scumbags out there when it's all said and done, because they keep being reelected or they keep getting reselected is what it really is in a lot of cases. And so, yeah, you end up having these kind of things where you got Paxton being brought up on potentially 20 articles of impeachment there in Texas. So, anyway, since we got our Texas boy out there right now, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link real quick. I'm going to go ahead and grab my headphones too over at it and bring him in here and see if he wants to come in here and talk about it for a minute or not. See what his opinion is on the Ken Paxton impeachment right now. Because personally, I think Ken's not going to be in a good shape right now. I think he's definitely going to get fucked in a minute here is what it is. So, as he should. I mean, we just read the articles of impeachment there. It's like they pretty much have him dead to rights right now. They don't want to have him dead to rights. So, it's all a whole thing. And I think, unfortunately, when you're doing criminality for years upon years, it's what it is, man. So, anyway.
What's going on, brother?
Not much.
So I hadn't heard about this. What the hell is going on with Ken Paxton? Why is he being impeached or possibly being impeached? I saw the title of your video, and so I don't know how long you've been going. There you go, 27 minutes. So I missed something.
Sorry, I had to go grab my little shitty earbuds here. So yeah, apparently, I guess, as I was reading here, they said that he basically violated a bunch of different laws by helping his buddy, who's a real estate investor there in Texas.
Is this just allegations because they're going after the right so hard and heavy, or is this actually valid?
Hang on, I'll be back in a sec.
All right. It's freaking ridiculous. It's never ending with the left or the right, honestly. They're all guilty of pretty much the same crap. I don't really know what to say about it, man. It is what it is. I guess we'll figure out more about it. Sounds like this is early stages. Not a lot has been going on. They're just bringing articles forward.
Yeah. It was them bringing forward the 20.
Such bullshit, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's when you actually look at it, because I'm going to go ahead and grab the.
It's just they're hypocrites, dude. They're going after the left for certain things when they're actually the ones that are truly guilty of it and are getting away with it, but because they're the opposition and don't agree with their bullshit, they're gonna drag their names through the months and try to throw everybody in prison.
Here's the actual articles at hand that we're talking about. So you have anything from disregard of public office because he was helping his buddy Nate Paul do investment stuff against a nonprofit. And then there's another one. There's another disregard of duty that was basically having a state senator named Brian Hughes you be a quote unquote straw requester to again help his friend Paul. And then basically 3 and 4 also the same stuff with that Nate Paul guy. 5 is a similar thing where he was going against where he was hiring an attorney named Brandon Comic, using taxpayer money to do that too, by the way. And then he was going against whistleblowers within the Texas Attorney General's office. It's against Texas Whistleblowers Act. So, yeah. And we got constitutional bribery, obstruction of justice, making false statements, dereliction of duty, unfitness for office, and abuse of public trust. So
that sounds like every fucking left Democratic.
It's both sides of the aisle.
Oh, I agree. Yes, that's why I said a while ago when you were doing something. Both sides are guilty of it,
Yeah.
But it's like the left and the Democrats are all above the law and everything and get away with it, but they're trying to crucify the opposition.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same thing roughly about a year or so ago with the Larry Householder bribery scandal here in Ohio. You had him brought up on $60 million bribery scheme, but yet you should have had our current governor, Mike DeWine, as part of that. You should have had current Lieutenant Governor John Husted. I believe Frank LaRose, the current Secretary of State, was also part of that issue. You had about 40 to 50 Democrats that are all in various positions of power right now, or at least were at the time. That should have been part of that as well, because they all voted for Householder as Speaker at the time. And you have many rhinos as well on that one. There are a few dozen. So, but yet it was only Householder that went down for it. Yet if they looked into these pay-to-play scandals or these straight-up briberies and stuff, you would have everybody going down.
And they all should.
Yeah. Like I said, it was up to me. I'd say we just kick them all out and start fresh entirely.
Yeah. I swear to God, dude, this is like, with everything going on that we all know now, and all the stories and articles and stuff that keep coming out daily, I swear to God, dude, I feel like we're living in a movie and we're watching civilization fucking fall, or at least America fall. And I know that's what they want. The a lot of the other countries in the world, they fucking want us to fall. I mean, hell, like we were talking last night about, they want to degrow the fucking wealthy, prosperous countries, which they were, I'm sure, mainly talking about us without saying us.
Yeah. Yeah, I ended up dipping out like less than 5 minutes into that chat last night because I was so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for like I think the first 2 minutes or something like that, and I ended up going to sleep after that.
Yeah, we only went like an hour and 20 minutes because Matt had stuff to do, and I had to go to bed because I had to get up early this morning for a phone call. So,
yeah, I don't know. I think it's more to like what I was saying yesterday, where you have, when we look at the history books 25, 30 years down the road, you're going to have all these little like footnotes to what led to the Second American Civil War Revolution time period. And it's going to be stuff like this, where it's like, Texas Attorney General gets impeached. A bunch of bomb-making material goes missing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, 30 tons. How do you fucking lose 30 tons?
You don't lose it. You specifically take it to do false flags. That's what you're doing right now.
Exactly, because I'm sorry, there's no way that saving a crew of bad guys that want to do bad things, there's no way they could cart off 30 fucking tons of ammonium nitrate. That is a lot, dude.
Yeah.
That would take a while, and many vehicles, many personnel. That it's not possible for I mean, I guess anything's possible, but they would have gotten caught trying to do it if a group of people were trying to steal it.
Unless
You know
you're
what I
just
mean?
stealing the entire train and then you're moving the train to some other place and then taking that off the train wherever you want to take it to.
Yeah, but even so, man, those trains are tracked constantly.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
They
saying.
have to be. There's no way they could lose a train these days, and there's no way that I can think of without being a large scale operation that individuals would be able to steal 30 tons of ammonium nitrate. That would have to be someone either misplaced the car or someone high up, be like, hey, we're taking this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I'm trying
sure
to
we'll
say
know at
stuff
some
without
point.
saying stuff if you get
Yeah,
what
I
I
know.
mean.
I'm sure we'll know at some point here.
Yeah.
I give it
I
a
just think
matter of
it's weird
time before it happens.
that ammonium nitrate went missing. And it was shortly after that when it came out saying all the senators and everybody's getting fucking sat phones all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh motherfucker, what's fixing to happen? Is this going to be fucking Jericho in real life?
Probably. I heard yesterday too that apparently, I guess they're now admitting that there's a bunch of Chinese hackers that are fucking with our infrastructure.
Yeah,
Like
we talked
critical
about that
infrastructure.
too.
So, yeah.
I
It's
mean, we can talk
insane.
about it again. It's fucking because aren't they the hackers going after the Navy ships?
I don't know. I
The
just
Navy?
heard critical infrastructure. I didn't actually read about what they were actually targeting. I thought it was just I actually thought it was our grid. Period.
Well, I think it's some of that, but if I remember correctly, it was they were hacking into the fucking Navy.
It's not surprising.
And
Well, the thing is, a
what?
lot of those Navy ships actually have nuclear warheads on them. So
Yeah, and that's a legit concern that if they managed to hack just one ship, they could essentially launch every fucking missile on that ship remotely.
yeah, and that would be some scary shit right there for sure.
And that would literally be like,
Skynet becoming self-aware.
yeah. It's like, have you seen previews for that new movie? I think it's called The Creator.
Yeah, I was watching it the other day. It was good. I'm looking forward to it.
It looks good, but Jesus Christ, man, with all this AI and shit coming out, fucking Skynet, dude.
Well, I think it's funny how in that preview they're just like, oh, it's a child. It's like, no, it's a robot.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, I don't care. I don't care if it has a face of a fucking kid or not. It's got the ears and shit of a fucking robotic android, dude. Like, deal with it.
Yeah, it's got to go. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good movie. But it just, with everything going on, it's like, is this like a fucking word's hard. I'm blanking on the word
Predictive
I want to
programming.
use. No. Basically, like they're showing us what they're gonna do. I can't think of the fucking word right now. Shit, it's too early in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Precognitive, basically.
Yeah. Well, predictive programming is that kind of thing as well. So,
like they're just showing, hey, because you know how they've done that in movies before.
yeah.
They'll have a movie or show like, oh, the Twin Towers got hit, and then shortly
It's
after
like a
that, the Twin
prelude
Towers got
to
hit.
whatever they're doing. Then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah,
But a lot of it in that case as well is like, especially with like Demolition Man and movies like that from the '90s, where it was showing like all this AI tech and then implementing of chips in hands and things like that. That was all predictive programming to get us in that mindset to like accept that shit at some point, and some people did.
Yep. Yeah, it's just propaganda.
Yeah, in most cases.
That and I guess you would kind of fall under maybe like psychological warfare to an extent. Because they're shoving all this shit out for many years, like you said, trying to get us used to it and somewhat accept it, and then they actually do it.
Yeah, it's like subconscious bias, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it is to make us accepting of that kind of stuff. So yeah, crazy. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens here, though, with Paxton and everything else. Then,
yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that since I'm in Texas.
Yeah. like I was saying before you got here, I don't know if it would be a special election you guys would hold for a new attorney general, since you got about a year or so till next election cycle for him.
Yeah.
Or it's like something where they'd appoint like the deputy or something like that is what would be in that place for that time period, or what it is.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll end up doing, if
Which
anything
makes you
comes
wonder
about it.
though, because technically wasn't it Paxton that was the one who basically hired that attorney general's deputy or whatever?
I believe so.
So how corrupt is that person then?
All right. That's if all this allegation is valid, because
Yeah.
right now it's just allegations.
Yeah. Well, it's article it was filed articles is what it is in that committee.
Right.
So
But
it
from
still
what
has to go
what you
through
were
the whole
saying, they
legislative
don't.
process of the House and everything like that then to get it fully done then.
Do they have proof? I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is any
It
of this
sounds like
actually
they
valid,
do.
or
It sounds like they do, because from what I was reading from that Texas Tribune site, it's a bunch of different things there about how you can basically have like verified proof of him doing like all kinds of like pay to play scandals. Like apparently that Nate Paul guy that was his buddy, that was a real estate investor guy,
kind of like
went to
Biden,
his
right?
house and was renovating his Austin home or something like that in exchange for like using the attorney general's office for various actions and stuff like that for various lawsuits and things.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm sure that I think they have a whole paper trail of scandal at this point, honestly.
Well, all the fucking government officials have that kind of paper trail, to one degree or another.
And then apparently he was also carrying on an extramarital affair with some chick or something that's apparently involved in one of the constitutional bribery articles here.
Mm.
So yeah,
So that's like Biden did, pay to play.
Yeah. Well, what'll be interesting to see, because Paxton's wife apparently is one of your state senators, so she could potentially be one of the yes or no votes against him, is what it is.
Oh Lord.
Which I would think, honestly, that should be an automatic recusal because you're tied that close to him.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know there's a lot of times where you'll have even state Supreme Court members and stuff like that. I'll be like, I'm recusing myself from this case because I have direct ties to it, is what it is.
Exactly. I don't know. We'll have to watch and see what happens.
It'll be crazy to see. Be crazy to see what happens then.
Yep.
Yep. Definitely interesting, though. I think things are definitely gearing up very quickly. Here's what it is.
Yep. I imagine big shit's gonna fucking go down here soon. I've been saying for I don't know how long now that I don't think we'll make it to the next presidential election next year. Because I think something big's gonna happen this year. By the end of the year, something big's gonna happen. That's gonna change the way we live life.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably something that we've never, something like we've never seen before. So
yeah, it's like I was saying.
I hope not. I pray not. But with everything going on, it's kind of hard to not think that way.
Yeah, it's like I was saying during match chat the other day about the DeSantis versus Trump thing and splitting the vote. But it wasn't really splitting the vote. It's like splitting the base is what it is. Because you're having, and like I've seen it all over Twitter in the last couple of days after DeSantis officially announced his run the other day. You have people on both sides being like, well, look at what Trump did back then. And everybody else is like, well, look at what DeSantis did that then as well. And it's basically just mudslinging back and forth with these people. And I'm just like, honestly, fuck both these guys. Let's throw a third person in this brand new guy and be done with it.
Right. Can I throw a theory your way and see what you think? Because I was just thinking about this earlier. You know how Trump is like adamantly kind of going after DeSantis, saying like Ron DeSanctimonious and all this other stuff. What if he's doing that on purpose to make him look a little bad, but make DeSantis look better for the people? That a way he wins the nomination to become president, and maybe somehow whoever wins, one is president, the other one's VP.
So it would be like some kind of weird, like 5 or 6D chess or something.
Exactly. Because I mean, he has no reason to go after Ron, from my understanding. So to me, it seems like it's a game.
It's hard to say. I mean, maybe, but like in the same vein of things, that's like I don't know. I mean, Trump is like such a narcissist. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it was just on the level at this point.
Oh no, I agree. Trump is a fucking narcissist. I agree.
But they all are at some point, honestly. And the thing is,
Oh
like when
god,
you
yeah.
look at like the whole like psychopath kind of thing and stuff like that, you look at all those people that are holding office right now, and it's like when you look at their psychopathy and stuff, and it's just a bunch of nuts. Actually, I heard a good one this morning too, as well. I guess they're looking at Oprah as a possible replacement for Feinstein right now, and I'm like, how the fuck is she even gonna go in there? Is she live in California for God's sakes? And it's like, how is that even legal to put her in there if she's not even a legal resident of the state of California then? So, yeah, just completely insane. And unfortunately, that's pretty much what our society's become these days, just a bunch of nuts.
Who in their right mind would vote for Oprah Winfrey to
Oh, there's a
replace
lot of
Dianne
leftists.
Feinstein?
There's a lot of leftists that will.
I mean, she
You'd be
she
surprised.
is a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she's definitely
And
part of a pedal ring too at that point.
exactly, that's what I was about to say. She has ties to Epstein and the pedo ring and all that. And this has been going
Multiple
around
pedal
for
rings.
years. For
That,
years, not just
from my
recently.
understanding, allegedly, and I'm gonna have to use that word because of what it is.
Yes, allegedly,
Allegedly,
of course, yes.
that school. Well, no, I'm saying it for this specific thing. Allegedly, that girls' school that she has over in Africa is a front for child molestation rings.
Yeah, I heard about that a while back, and so that's not news. So that's why I'm thinking, who in their right fucking mind would vote for that dumb cunt? You know?
Well, when you have California not having voter ID laws, it's pretty easy to get somebody in there. And I'll leave it at that. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's all crazy, and I think
I
unfortunately
concur.
we're just getting worse and worse on the day. So
Yeah, we're constantly getting screwed over in one form or fashion.
yeah,
It's just, I'm almost to the point. Let's just get this shit show going so we can get past it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
I do agree
obviously,
with
I don't
that.
want nothing bad to happen. I don't want to see people hurt. God knows I don't want that to happen. But it seems like, the government and other people in the world are just bound and determined to fucking destroy America, knock
Yeah,
it off
here
its
was the
pedestal.
particular thing. It says Oprah Winfrey could enter politics by replacing Dianne Feinstein. Newsom considering Oprah for Feinstein's seat after letting Trump decide the fate of political candidates for them for 6 years. They have suddenly become aware that it is not a good thing. And then some people were talking about prospects of Oprah as a senator. We
She
got
has
news
no
considering Oprah Winfrey
political
replaced Dianne
experience
Feinstein.
whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, the thing I don't understand is how a sitting governor even has the right to replace a sitting senator. Like, nah, bro, that's an immediate special election. That's exactly how it should go.
Mm-hmm.
So, just ridiculous. Yeah.
Because I know that's one thing everybody
Absolutely
complained
insane.
about with Obama, because Obama was only a senator for 1 year and became president. I'm like, how the hell do you have any experience in political realm to become president? I mean, I think that should be like mandatory. They have to have so many years in the government, senator, whatever,
Yeah.
and before
Or at least he's
they
an
can
aide or
run for,
something.
yeah, run for any office, much less, president, like even senator. I think you should
Yeah.
have, so many years of experience before you just jump into it, because there's a lot of shit that takes place as being in that role that if you don't know nothing about it, you're like, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At this point, you might as well throw a fucking child in that responsibility, because it's the same effect.
Okay, here we go. Yeah. Gavin Newsom would be tasked with choosing finance successor should she retire before the 2024 general election. Okay, so that makes more sense then.
That's if she lives that long. She looks like she's
Yeah.
knocking on death's door after that major stroke she had.
Yeah, but even
Or at least
still, I don't.
allegedly. In my opinion, it looks like she had a stroke.
Let's see, into politics. Okay, that's what they're saying, because in the midterm she endorsed a bunch of Democrats in high-profile races, including that idiot Fetterman, et cetera, et cetera. Although it's funny, because she endorsed Fetterman, and then we got Cherry Blessey from North Carolina, who I'm pretty sure lost. Val Demington, I know for a fact, lost in Florida. Mandela Barnes, I'm pretty sure, lost in Wisconsin. And obviously Beto lost in Texas. So,
Yeah.
as well as Abrams, who lost in Georgia. And I think Warnock actually, again, slid his way
Speaking of
back into
Florida,
office. So,
how likely is it if Ron runs for president and say he wins and becomes president, right?
mhm.
How likely is it that with him gone as governor of Florida, will Florida stay red and not flip blue?
So there's a couple things there. Jeanette Nunez, who is the current
I'll get him. Yeah.
lieutenant governor of Florida, she is actually, I think, even more hard red than DeSantis is currently. So she would basically take over as governor there if he would be, out
President.
of office or whatever there. And she would basically then set herself up for about a year and a half or 2 years or so into her own succession as governor then for a re-election, more or less. So you basically have potentially about a year and a half to 2 years of her being governor of Florida, and then from there it would be, depending on how good she does, she might get reelected then. Again, it all depends on demographical shifts and stuff like that, and if they keep doing what they're doing and whatnot, and dealing with the scumbaggery down there in Florida and whatnot. So,
because I saw an article, I didn't get a chance to read it, but it was something about Biden's blueprint to flip Florida blue.
mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the thing is,
like I said, I didn't get a chance to read the article, but
yeah, a lot of the areas down there that are major areas like Miami and stuff like that, that's the only reason you got pieces of shit like Maxwell Frost in office right now, is because that scumbag legitimately went into like the bluest district possible and then filed to run for Congress, and then basically was in a one-horse race to get in there because he beat like a bunch of people in a primary that were all other Democrats, and there was no Republican in the general election for him to actually face off against.
Jesus.
Which at that point is where I think redistricting needs to happen. At that point, it's like, no, you don't have a seat anymore then. If you can't beat somebody in a general election too, dude, like, screw off. Or even in that same vein of things, like if you're both primary and a general election where you just win by default or whatever it is, it's like, no, that seat doesn't exist anymore then. The fuck out of here. Because that's like Ohio when it comes to our state reps and stuff like that. You have like at least 20 of these people that got in by default is what it is in one-horse races. It's like, nah, bro, sorry, that seat's gone now. We're putting that back into a single county then. So, I don't know. It's all a bunch of bullshit in general.
God, I wish we could shrink the government like it's meant to be,
I'm trying to right now, here at least in this state, with the one county, one rep policy, but it's not going to work for every state, obviously, because some would have more reps in their state house then.
Right.
I know Texas would. I think you guys have about half of what it would be if you do it by counties then. But on the flip side of things, you'd have Pennsylvania would have like 1/3 of what their current one is, because it's like 200 something right now, and they only have like 70 counties there. So it'd be states like that would be enacting it properly to get it done and shrink their shit down. It's like, I don't care if you have 1 million people in this Philadelphia area, you get one rep entirely for that entire county.
Exactly. That we need to shrink all degrow the alphabet gang, because there don't need to be that many.
Yeah, exactly.
Or there shouldn't be that many, I mean.
Yep. And that is a given. Let's see here. Oh, apparently when Oprah was back in Stacey Abrams' gubernatorial run in 2018, she was talking about not being there to run herself or whatever. She just wanted to help out other people is what it was. And it's like, yeah, all right, sure. It's like, Jesus, lady. Yeah, I got several prospective Democrats have already entered the race to fill Feinstein's seat, when it comes up for 2024, including current California State Rep Barbara Lee, who is black. That's what this article says, obviously.
A
California
Republican
reps
needs to take that
Katie
seat.
Porter. I think we all remember Katie Porter. She's a piece of shit right now.
Exactly.
And
Who would
Adam
be like
Schiff.
the best candidate for the Republicans to take Diane's seat?
Honestly, if it was up to me, I'm trying to think what that guy's name is. The dude that running against Newsom in 2022. The
Yes,
black guy.
I can't remember his name either off the top of my head.
Larry Elder, that's what it is.
Elder, yeah.
Yeah, Larry Elder would be the best candidate, I think, right now, currently.
But the likelihood of a Republican taking that seat is...
It would be damn near impossible. And
yeah, no shit.
It's just because of the crazy gerrymandering that is California.
Exactly. I mean, anything's possible. I believe that. So, I mean, he has a shot, but I don't think he has a great shot because I'm pretty sure if Dianne Feinstein, whatever her fucking name is,
Yeah, Feinstein,
Miss fucking, I can't. What is it? Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
If she retires or passes away or whatever the situation occurs, it's gonna be like feeding time with sharks. Everyone's gonna fucking just go crazy trying to fill that seat as fast as possible.
I think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene that actually enacted articles against Schiff right now for all the shit he pulled in the last couple of years.
Good.
To make sure that he couldn't get in there. So hopefully that's the case and that actually works, but who knows? I know she also tried to impeach. I know she also did a speech yesterday where she was trying to impeach Biden and a couple other people as well, like Mayorkas and stuff like that, for their current corruption and whatnot. So,
I could honestly see like Beto trying to fucking do it too, because he's failed at the last 3 elections.
Well, the thing is, he would have to be a registered candidate and be living in California for X amount of time before that race. So,
who's to say he's not going to try?
I mean, it's possible, but he would still have to fit the qualifications and stuff like that. And I think
right. No, I know.
I can't remember if it's like 6 months or it's over a year. I think you have to live as a state resident to be able to run then.
Well, if he did it now, he'd have time.
Yeah, he would have to jump in like immediately or jump over there immediately then. I don't know. I see them doing something like that where it would be some. I could see it being some like state rep or whatever, like that Barbara Lee woman or whatever.
I would love to see Elder in it.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. There's a
because that would start turning fucking California, red.
Well, honestly, I mean, truthfully, if we want to get into the nitty gritty of it, when you look at the state of California right now, you could easily split that into its own thing, and each one of them have their own senator then.
Yeah.
Or it would be like that top red half get like a red senator, and the blue half gets a blue senator or whatever, and it's like they just split each other's would be then.
Because isn't a large portion of California actually red? It's just like the major cities that are blue that control
let me see if I can find a map of California real quick, because I'm gonna do a little here, California.
So they're more or less purple. They're not like a true blue. But it would be fucking awesome, dude, if we could flip California to red. Could you imagine how much they would lose their fucking minds if California flipped red? When has California ever been red?
I don't know. Well, no, yes, yeah, it was. It was back in the 60s and 70s, I want to say.
Okay, well, it's been a very long time, and I think it was
way before illegal immigration started being a thing in this country. So
okay,
yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find there.
I would just grab a bag of popcorn and fucking.
I think this is their congressional districts right here in this map. So yeah, you have all these different ones like that, but that's the problem. Like the way that they and this is the thing, people always talk about gerrymandering and stuff like that, but then they gerrymander like the coastline, where it's like obviously like what should be like this one district of like a bunch of them or whatever. They just like shift off into like a little teeny like split or something like that little teeny bit right there. That's like San Benito or something like that. Or it's like Santa Cruz is like multiple districts and stuff. San Jose is its own district. And you have like, it's like some part of the coastline or whatever. But then it's like up here at the top is like where it's all, like red districts and stuff like that. like near Oregon and whatnot. But it's all like the bottom stuff where it's like LA going into Mexico and like San Diego and stuff like that, where it's all like super hard blue. So yeah, it's just a bunch of crap in general. But I could easily see it being something like that, where you just have it be like that weird split where it just almost splits in half, and it would just be like, okay, here's your half, here's our half. And then it would just be labeled as like California 1, California 2, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that way it would still be like technically quote unquote like one state or whatever, and it would still have like the same, amount of people or whatever for congressional and everything else like that. And then it would be like, okay, cool, you can have these and this and this and that or whatever. And it's like you each get one senator, then is what it would be then.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not adding another 2 senators into the mix then. But yeah, I know it's like a lot of like the, what do you call it now, like the mountainy areas are very hard red there in California, but it's all the very leftist cities that outnumber them like crazy, where it's like tens of millions of people or whatever versus like a couple 100,000 or something. So I don't know, it's all a bad deal.
I agree. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to respond to something real quick.
Okay. No, you're good.
Sorry about that. My wife was texting me, so I just had to respond real quick.
Yep.
She fucking blew a fucking tire. Yesterday was just a fucking kind of shit day, dude.
Uh-huh.
Jesus. Because, my appointment yesterday, finding out, all the news about that, and then just other shit that went down. And then last night, she was on her way to work and blew a fucking tire, and Jesus.
Yeah.
It kind of rolled over in the morning a little bit, but not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I had the hospital call me for pre-op this morning. Just questions and stuff, get that out of the way, and then I got to go Tuesday for actually pre-op.
Yeah. So what? Was it just they couldn't get anything from the biopsy, so they have to do surgery, or what?
No, I chose not to do that because everything basically said that if something were to arise from the results, surgery would happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, just skip the bullshit and let's go straight for surgery.
Okay.
Because they were like, oh, we can go in there and just take a biopsy, and depending on what it said, we'll have to do surgery, or we could do, these 3 tests, 2 or 3 tests, and if that showed something, then we'll have to do surgery. So it's just, and I told him that, how bad it's hurting. And he's like, well, yeah, since it's hurting like that, I advise surgery as well. So I'm like, cool, let's just do it. Because not only am I skipping the bullshit, but I'm also skipping unnecessary bills
Medical
arising.
bills, yeah.
Exactly. Because why go through 2 or 3 tests that may or may not result in surgery anyways?
Yeah.
And with it hurting, let's just fucking get rid of it.
Exactly.
And he was like, oh, surgery's not a guarantee that the pain will go away. And I was like, well, there's a high probability it will, and let's just get the thing out.
Well, hopefully it goes okay then.
Yeah, me too. They called me this morning, so it'll be Friday morning. I don't know the exact time yet. And because I'll get that at pre-op Tuesday, but it'll be outpatient unless something else arises from it, and it'll take probably an hour and a half surgery.
It's not bad.
No, not at all. But there is a chance that once, because they'll send it off to pathology after the surgery, and depending on the pathology report, if it's negative, I'm fine, for cancer. But if it comes back cancerous, then I'm going to have to go back in for another surgery.
Yeah.
for a full mastectomy.
Oof. Yeah,
Which means they'll take everything, including the pec muscle. They'll take it all.
Jeez. Yeah, I know when they did my colon cancer surgery back in 2016, it was, I think, 6 hours it took them to get that all done.
Jesus.
Because they had to do, they had to do the cutout of everything, and then they also had to do the anal fissure. They had to fix all
And if
that.
anyone's out, yeah, if anyone's out there, I don't know if there is or isn't, but what I'm talking about is I estimate it's probably about the size of a quarter size lump in my left breast. I got to have that removed. So I don't know. And the only I wasn't even gonna worry about it and go to the doctor or anything. Yeah, it's been hurting, but my wife was like, yeah, no, you need to go get that checked out immediately. And then I went to my doctor, did the blood work that day. Next day, I had an ultrasound. Then I guess the radiologist for the ultrasound, I don't know what they technically are, was like, we're referring you to a surgeon. So I got referred to a surgeon, and I went there yesterday. So within a couple of days of the ultrasound, I'm seeing a surgeon, and then I'm having surgery Friday. So everything's happening fast, which has me somewhat concerned. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Just because how fast everything's progressing, moving. That's what I'm somewhat worried about that. Plus, with my aunt, who recently, she's my paternal aunt, my mom's sister, just finished up radiation and surgery for breast cancer. So, and then we have other cancers that run in the family, and it's just like that's what worries me a little bit. I know it's rare or very uncommon for men to have breast cancer, but it does happen. It happens more than
Actually,
people
one of
think.
my cousins, she's a nurse, and she was talking to some of my other cousins about how they carry their cell phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, don't ever carry because there's a lot of chicks that'll slip it into their boob area,
Yeah, and the
carry it
bra.
that way." And she's like, "Don't ever carry it that way because we've had an uptick in breast cancer because of that." Because it's like the low grade radiation coming off of cell phones or whatever will do that to you.
Exactly. I carry mine in my back pocket, so maybe I'll end up with ass cancer.
Yeah. Perhaps.
But I only carry it when I go to town. It's usually, sitting on my coffee table or arming the couch or something, or in my hand if I'm using it.
Yeah.
But I only put it in my back pocket if I go to town or something, which isn't very often.
Yeah, I usually throw mine in one of my side pockets of my shorts or my pants or whatever I'm wearing.
Yeah.
So like some kind of bone cancer.
Yeah, right. I've already got squash coming down my ears.
Yeah.
I've got over 20 squash sitting on my kitchen counter right now that I need to boil a pot of water, blanch them for about a minute, and then let them cool off and then freeze them.
Yeah.
Doing it that way keeps them, when you defrost them later on, it keeps them from being soggy.
Could also just put out a thing out front that's like squash for sale.
Yeah, depending on if I get way too much, I thought about doing that too, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 squash plants, I believe, 5 or 6 squash, and dude, they're all fucking producing. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zucchini plants over there. 2 of them aren't doing as well, but the other 4 are. And I got my first squash yesterday, or my first zucchini yesterday, and dude, that bitch is, I would say, at least 9 or 10 inches long. It's pretty fucking massive. I've actually kind of neglected the garden the past couple of days just because of all the shit that I've been going through, the doctors and whatnot. So I went out there yesterday morning and harvested like 10 or 12 squash, and today I did 6.
Jeez.
Plus, I already had about another 15 on the calendar.
Yeah, I went out the other day looking at the back berry patch and stuff like that, and realizing when they cut down a couple of trees last year, it basically destroyed like 90% of it now.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Yeah, and then the ones that are going to produce, I looked at them and they were just like pure green still and like little teeny guys, and I'm figuring it's going to take another month or so for them to even get to the point where they'd be able to be picked off or whatever. So it's going to be pretty much nothing production this year, which sucks, but it's whatever. Eventually, we'll get those trees out of there, and it'll regrow itself at some point. Then probably in another 5 years or something. It's come back multiple times from all that stuff. So,
right.
I mean, hell, we had one of our buddies take I forget what it was, like a skid steer or something like that, and take down like a bunch of the stuff out there, probably about 6-7 years ago, and like half of it's already growing back to where it needs to be taken out again, basically. So.
Yeah, you remember how I was telling you that my neighbor helped me till my big garden?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm glad I got it done when I did, because unfortunately, and I told him, that when my garden starts producing, I'll, give you some as a thank you for helping me. Well, close to a week ago now, he passed away.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, of cancer, ironically enough.
That's out of nowhere. So it's the same guy that gave you that meat and stuff?
No. This is the first neighbor that helped me.
Oh, okay.
He's that neighbor that passed away. He's on the west side of me. The neighbor that helped me mow and gave me the hamburger meat is on the east side of me.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm probably gonna get a bunch of the squash together that I've already harvested and take to him and say, here you go. That way I don't have as much to freeze at the moment, because I've already got probably 20 more that are going to be harvested in the next couple of days. And I plan on doing a video sometime today for my channel, like an update video, because I haven't done one yet.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of progress. My sunflowers that I planted finally are growing.
That's good.
I've got because I planted some more carrots since the first round that I planted didn't do anything, and they're starting to sprout up finally.
That's good.
So, and my my potatoes, dude, Jesus Christ, those potatoes are getting, the leaves and stems are getting fucking tall. Even my tomato plants, I got to get out there and put more stakes in the ground for them and tie them off, because they have exploded. And if you watch my video when I post it, you'll see the difference. A lot has changed since the last video. That's why I need to do one. I just haven't had time.
Yeah.
It's all the medical crap. And last weekend I had family come down. I hadn't seen since my mom's funeral. So I spent the whole weekend just hanging out with them. So I didn't do a video then. And then next weekend, I'm not going to be doing anything at all except recuperating after surgery.
Yeah.
Which I'll tell everybody probably if I end up on Matt's chat tonight, or shit, even like Monday chat, I'll tell everybody that I'll be out for a while.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to want to do anything after surgery.
Yeah.
Depending on how I feel, I might be there on the geek chat. I don't know. You just have to see how I feel.
All right. Well.
Plus, I've been dealing with dogs. I don't know if you know, but dude, I got 7 dogs now.
Yeah, he told me that the other day.
And they're one that we fostered. She's like a year or so old, so she's still in that puppy phase. And she's just fucking chewing on everything. And then we actually have 2 puppies that are 12 weeks oldish, 12 to 13 weeks old. And they are fucking just a handful, dude. I forgot what it's like to have puppies. But they're like, I want to say they're like Pyrenees pit mix. Because they look like pits, but they have on their back paws, they also have dew claws, which the vet said is indicative of Pyrenees. It only happens in Pyrenees breeds or mixed breeds.
Interesting.
And you know what a dew claw is, right?
I believe so.
On the front paws of dogs, they have, their normal nails in the front. But if you go down the inside of their arms, like on the inside of their left arm, they have what looks to be like another claw, but it kind of just dangles. That's a dew claw.
Okay.
And so these puppies have dew claws on their back paws.
Huh.
Which helps them for climbing. I already figured that out. Little shits. And you got anything else to talk about news-wise? I know I kind of went off topic.
Yeah, I'm pretty much tapped out for the day. I'm going to end it here in a second. So if you want to plug your channel before we go.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If anyone's interested, I have my own channel. It's Homesteading with Soulless Ginger. And I do videos on my garden, update videos on my garden, which I might do other types of videos. I haven't decided yet, but right now it's just garden videos. And I do live chats Saturdays around 9:30. So if y'all want to check out my channel, I'd really appreciate it. Give me a like, subscribe, share if you want. You don't have to. It's appreciated if you do. But I'll be doing an update video probably later today if I have time on my garden. And then I'll do a live chat tomorrow night after Never Enough Ammo's Geek Chat.
I'm going to end by plugging, starting June 1st, I will officially be on OnlyFans.
Really?
Not that OnlyFans.
Sure.
A different OnlyFans.
You gonna break out your hooker bag? Go turn tricks?
Nah, we'll be doing conspiracy stuff on there all the time.
I know, I'm just fucking with you, dude. Just busting your balls.
But yeah, other than that, that's where we're at for the thing, though. So I'll be back later for something. Not sure what yet. Maybe some more papers, maybe something else. So till then, see you guys in the next one.
Later.